Okay, they finally posted the Legion Gem information. So let's go over them together. Legion Gems. Set to launch in less than 2 days. Great. Here's the level 20 quality gems. Rage support. 10% increased damage, 4 to 7 added fizz per 10 rage. So that's maximum of 50. So 40 to 70. Wait, math is hard. Times 5. 20 to 35 flat fizz. Supported attacks deal 39 to 72 added fizz with weapons while you have at least 10. 1 rage on melee hit no more than once every 0.4 seconds. I think Zerker is every 0.3 seconds. It's a good chunk of flat fizz. But minions cannot join gain rage. This sucks because you can't use it with, you lose that big chunk. You can't use the big chunk with face breakers. You don't get the little chunks either. So you can gain rage on Facebreaker, but you can't abuse the flat fizz. That's no fun. I don't know, I like it. I don't think anybody will use this. Maybe on their, like, movement skills? You can passively gain movement, or gain rage, like your, like, travel skills. I don't know if anyone's gonna put this in their main 6-link, though. Steelskin, 1.5 seconds duration. Skills cooldown does not recover during its effect. 70% of damage from hits is taken from the buff. Buff can take 2.2k damage. Okay, so this is actually a massive effective life buff. Most endgame builds have like 5 to 6k life. 2.2k absorption is it's pretty nice. I kind of like that. With some duration, like, you can probably get that to a 3-second timer and just have it up all the time. Pretty big buff to your overall life pool. Dash. 2-second cooldown, 67% increased cooldown recovery speed. So what does that translate to? 0.6 second cooldown or 1.5 second cooldown? I don't know how that works. Performs a series of quick teleports towards a targeted location. If using attack in place, the direction is reversed. Fuck. My habit to just hold attack in place all the time is gonna get me killed with this constantly. It requires level... Oh wait, that's level 20, what am I saying? This should be a low level gem. I'm gonna go backwards all the time. Bladestorm. Spinning attack, damaging enemies around you. Requires a sword or axe here in blood stance by default. Sand Bladestorms grant movement speed. I don't really know what to do with this. You get more attack speed while you're in a Bladestorm. So for single target, you swap to bleeds and you just vomit them out, and then you just vomit sand when you want to go over the way. Pocket Sand. 1.2 second recharge with this. Okay. I don't know how that math works still. 2/3 somehow translates. I don't know, whatever. Blood and Sand. Alright, this is what I wanted to see. It only reserves 10% mana. And it only goes up to level 6? Interesting. But it's an aura that gives you 15% more damage and more AoE. Oh wait, no. More damage, less AoE, and more AoE, less damage. That's pretty good then, for like any melee character. Even if you're not a gladiator for the blood and sand thing, you can just use this all the time. Instead of a banner. Like if you're Resolute Technique instead of a war banner or whatever, you can just use this instead. I like that. I might use this instead of banner on my flying purple people. Path of Building isn't updated yet, so I'm not 100% sure how much these are going to help me, but it'll be cool. This was something I was interested in. Berserk consumes rages at an accelerated rate to provide powerful buffs. You get 30% more damage, more attack speed, more movement speed, less damage taken. Lose 5 rage per second. Each second you increase your loss rate. So I'm assuming you can't sustain this at all. There's no way they would allow you to sustain. Even with Rage plus Berserker, if they're separate cooldowns, you get every 0.3 and every 0.4 seconds. So you can get like 3 to 5 rage per second, maybe. You might be able to sustain that. No, because you lose... No, you can't. You lose more per second. Okay, I guess, I mean, just for bursting. You could destroy a boss with this thing. And it's just like a short self-cast. I like that a lot, actually. I do find it funny that they made Berserker the glass cannon thing, and then they released this, which gives you less damage taken. It's just like, A little bit counterintuitive personally, but okay. Why does a Berserker get less damage taken? I don't know. I like that. Maybe that's why you want to use this when you're not playing a Berserker, so you can just get Rage to proc your Berserk. It's pretty cool looking. Alright, let's see Perforate's numbers. Less damage in blood stance, huge base damage AoE. Why do you get... What the fuck? That much less damage? I guess all the spikes are right in front of you, so you can hit the same enemy multiple times, but how many times? How many spears do we get to make per hit? Is it like 5? Because negative 65% damage is kind of a lot. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know how much AoE this has. Like, none of these gems are in PUB, as I think I mentioned earlier, so it's hard to tell how much AoE they're gonna get. 3 times? Okay, then I guess that makes sense. Not really. You basically lose 2/3 of the damage. If you hit them 3 times, it's like the same as being in Sand Stance. I don't know, we'll see. Chain Hook. If you want to roleplay as Brutus, here you go. Throwing out a chain, pulling you to the enemy, and creating a shockwave that deals damage in an area. When close to the enemy, just causes shockwave directly. Mace, sword, or axe. I still hate the fact that they're limiting all these skills to specific weapon types, instead of them just being like, you can use this with any weapon. You don't even like use your weapon, you just throw a chain. Like, why do you do this? Should work with unarmed. Come on, man. Alright, this is something people are talking about. 10% increased melee damage, that's from the quality most likely. They grant Combat Rush on hit. Combat Rush lasts for 2 seconds or until you use a travel skill. It gets 24% more attack and cast speed to travel skills that are not supported by close combat. Supported skills deal up to 59% more melee damage based on proximity, can only be used with axes and swords. Again, why? Daggers and claws and maces are all close range as well. There's no reason to limit this. The support is limited by weapon type, like fuck. And you can't even unarmed it. It's just like, why? 59% more melee damage and then the ability to like jump out of combat a lot faster is really cool. But I guess it's melee's point blank. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess for Blade Flurry and then dashing out of it with your rush would be insane. We'll see. We'll see how much micro people can use with this. Shockwave support. Supported skills trigger Shockwave on hit. Can all be used with maces and staves. Again, weird arbitrary limits. Cannot support triggered attacks, skills used by totems, or skills which create minions. Can it support minions? Can I put this on a Spectre? On a melee attack Spectre? Oh my god, can you put this on Dancing Dervish? Or Dancing Duos? No, maces and staves. Fuck, I can't read. Is there a Spectre with a mace or stave that would use this? What weapon do Kitava's heralds use? Are they unarmed? God damn it. I'm thinking like these would all be pretty cool for Spectres if they work, but I don't think they do. Frostblink. That damage though. You teleport, damaging enemies, leaving shield around an area where you left. You get to have cold farts. Great. Base duration is 3 seconds for the chill. Cooldown, what's the cooldown? 2.6 seconds. Increase cooldown recovery speed for each normal or magic enemy in area. Cooldown recovery speed for each rare or unique in area. What is in area? How big is area? Is area a new keyword that we have to memorize? Like all the other different versions of nearby? There's like 10 different variants of nearby that have different AoEs. It's great. They all use the same keyword. I don't know. If you're in a big, like a really dense map, you might be able to blink around and kill everything with the cooldown reduction enough. Yeah, if you had big Herald of Ice AoE and damage on that, you could potentially use this on like an auto bomber to just blink between packs and delete everybody. I like that idea. Alright, precision, we already saw this on the Hiri's something amulet. It gives you 59% increased crit, 700 accuracy. It doesn't sound like a lot, but with aura effect, it's kind of insane. You can put this on your aura bot, it's disgusting. It's like 300% crit and 2000 accuracy, it's balanced. Alright, Flesh and Stone, 25% reservation. Nearby enemies are blinded while in stand stance. You take less damage from enemies that aren't nearby while in stand stance. Again, how big is nearby? And nearby enemies are maimed, and nearby enemies maimed by the skill take increased fizz damage. So for pure fizz builds, this could be good for your aura. You could use this plus one of the other 50% maybe. Plus a Blood and Sand aura to get pure fizz buffs. I don't know, I like that. Impale, 40% chance to impale, 59% increased impale effect, 15% more physical damage. I haven't, again, we talked about this a lot today. I've been getting a lot of questions about if I would ever play impale with all the buffs to it. I haven't ever seen a build that was built around it that was good. So I'll experiment with it later in the league, but I don't really know anything about impale or what it even does. Okay, this is a new 50% reservation aura. Pride, nearby enemies take 90% more physical damage, rising up to 39% for 4 seconds, if they stay in the aura for 4 seconds. Interesting. Why is it called Pride? Like, standing next to somebody angrily is not going to make them take more damage. They're just going to get mad at you and berserk and then take less damage. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's just another pure fizz aura, so you could use Pride plus Flesh and Stone, plus berserk, or plus Blood and Sand maybe. Because Pride Month? Oh my god. GGG, why is this gem not rainbow? Come on. Pulverize support. Oh, this one's cool. 10% increase AoE, 34% more AoE, 50% less attack speed, and more area damage. So for Earthquake, Tectonic Slam, Ground Slam, Sweep, Cleave, really like the slower hitting big AoE type skills, this is massive. It's a huge amount of AoE and damage. I like this. Also, I think it works with Unarmed. It just says supported skills. Yeah, it should work with your unarmed skills as well. It doesn't have a random arbitrary limit to it, so that's good. Cyclone, less attack speed. I don't know if I would want to use that, but maybe. It depends on how fast you can proc your stages. Oh, Doriani's Slam. Yeah, the touch of God with this would be insane. Really, really, really slow, but you could get a big slam out of it. Infused channeling, what did they change here? I think they just like cleared it up. 10% more damage, less damage if hits matching the skill gem text. Yeah, so you lost the implicit like phase reduction unless you're using a phase skill, which is fine. That doesn't really make sense. Immortal Call changes, we knew about this. We knew about all this stuff. Why do I keep saying that? Less heli damage taken, less phase damage taken, 50% less per endurance charge removed, up to 5, I think. Yeah. I like how they showed Vol Immortal Call, even though you can't actually get Vol Immortal Call anymore. Like, I have them in Standard, their Legacy. It literally just says cannot die. 0.4 seconds times 157 per charge. I wonder how long you can get. I think I had 7 seconds of cannot die on my Nebulock Jug with 9 endurances and no endurance scaling, or no duration scaling. And it lasts, the soul gain prevention is 8 seconds. You could potentially make an invuln character with this. It'd be fun. Melee Splash, they just changed this to be more clear. And they buffed its AoE a lot. So since all the melee skills like have a cone of effect, they can hit all the enemies in the cone. This allows you to splash multiple times with each enemy that you hit. Or you get to have a splash with each enemy that you hit, I should say. This is pretty cool. I'm not sure how good this will be with like Flicker Strike now. Flicker Strike Melee Splash might be not needed, or might be really, really good. It just depends. We'll see. Storm Rend, they just changed this to no more shotgunning, but it deals more damage to branded enemies and stuff. I think, from what I was told from the people that played this is actually a buff to single target. You lose the shotgunning, but they buff the hit damage enough that it's like better still. I don't know. I think Storm Rend should be perfectly fine still though, as someone who's never played it, so take that with a grain of salt. Lacerate, here we go, there's my gem. So you get less attack speed, but you hit a lot harder. And you can go bleed if you wanted. Or you can just stay Sand Stance all the time for the big angle. It allows you, like, Lacerate normally has a cone of AoE, right? And you have 2 overlapping cones. There's a cone in the middle where you hit twice. With Sand Stance angle widening, you get to have a much bigger overlap, so you can double damage the enemies in the middle a lot easier. Molten Strike changes. This is hard to know without playing it, but I think it's worse for like clearing and the same for single target, but you can no longer cheese Ancestral Call to get extra balls to spawn. Something like that. Like you have to actually hit an enemy to make them to spawn. You can't just like hit the ground or hit the area next to an enemy, you know? I think that's a nerf, but I don't really know. We'll see. Molten Strike's been broken for forever now, so maybe this finally makes it not broken. Molten Shell, Vol, Molten Shell. This, I think this might replace Immortal Call for a lot of people. If you have any amount of armor, this might be really good because it allows you to make a shield based off your armor. It looks like you can get up to 10,000 damage taken by the shield, but that would need 50k armor to get. 50k armor is like a granite flask with armor effect and some armor on tree. And maybe some on your gear, you should be fine. Maybe a little, yeah, fairly high armor on gear, you should be able to get that. Then you have a 10,000 life shield that takes 75% of damage. That's pretty huge effective life buffs. And then the Vol version, you take up to 30,000. Jesus Christ. 60% of your armor. Okay, so it's the same. You still would only need 50k armor to max the Vol Molten Shell as well. I like that. Plus you get 1,000 flat armor from the skill itself, 900 to 1,000. I don't know. I'm interested to see how much people actually use the new like stone skin. What are these called now? Guard skills. I think they'll be really strong defensively and offensively. It just depends on what people can do with it. I wonder why they included Molten Shell and Molten Shell. That's weird. They didn't do that for Immortal Call. Whatever. Cyclone. Cyclone gets a bunch of flat fizz, and it's channeling, and you get melee range per stage. Modifiers to melee attack range also apply to radius. Stack weapon range, stack attack speed, stack damage. Ooh, Vol Cyclone. Cannot be evaded. You can apply the big suck and just delete the whole screen. They did do it? Oh, I'm just blind. Why are they not next to each other? That's weird. Okay. Multi-strike, 44% more melee attack speed, less damage, increased damage. First repeat deals 50% more damage, second repeat deals 99% more damage. I like that. I like the, like, it's kind of like Ruthless, but better. Can you use this and Ruthless to get, like, the second repeat deals, like, 300% more damage or something insane, or does it not work like that? I've never really researched how multi-strike plus Ruthless even works together. Is it every 3 repeats? Or every 3 hits? Probably every 3 repeats. So you have to use 3 hits and 3 hits, 3 hits before you get the Ruthless proc again. But that would be an insane thing for like multi-strike, heavy strike builds with Ruthless. And all the double damage on heavy strike itself and the enchants and shit. You could probably get a proc every once in a while that one-shots whatever you're hitting. It's a lot of more multipliers. I don't know, we'll see. Every 3rd attack. So I think the 3 repeats is considered 1 attack. There's a 3rd multi-strike, all considered to be a Ruthless hit. 132% more times 99% more. Which makes no sense unless you play Pee-wee. Those are both like more multipliers. Exponential damage growth. I don't know why they buffed this. Like, why would you use lesser poison? I guess you can use both of them at once? I don't know what the point of using both of these is. Do you use both with Viper Strike? Doesn't Viper Strike have poison automatically? You don't want the more damage with poison here? The flat chaos is more valuable than 28% more damage with poison? I don't know. Viper Strike, I'll take your word for Viper Strike meta, because I have no idea about that stuff. Bane was nerfed slightly. I think it lost 10% base damage, but you still have more damage per curses. It's not a big deal. Soul Ren, they made the AoE slightly narrower. It'll be fine, because everybody just spams GMP anyway. Herald of Agony was nerfed by about 1/3, but oh no, you now have 3 million DPS instead of 4 million DPS. Damn it. With no investment, by the way. No investment. War Banner is basically the same. I think they just changed the accuracy to reflect the accuracy changes. Shattering Steel. I think they gave it more Impale stuff, and it doesn't shotgun anymore. I still have never played any of the Steel skills, and I don't think I'm ever going to. I just wish it worked with daggers and claws, because that seems like it would make sense. They have blades as well. I don't know. Lancing Steel, same thing. These are like the same to me. Which one's better if you're playing Impale? Does it matter? I don't know. Shattering's better. Dude, they look very similar to me. Just, I don't know, dude. Winter Orb, so they nerfed its running around damage, but they buffed its actual channeling damage, which I think is fine. You should be dealing higher damage while you're channeling, not otherwise. Reeve, they reworked finally, so you don't like drop all of the stages as soon as you run out of timer. It like decays over time, which is really nice. I think Vol Reeve is going to be a pretty popular melee build because they buffed its AoE. It gave it more radius. And the decay thing makes it a lot more comfortable to use. Spectral shield throw, no one cares. Spectral throw, wow, that is an incredibly bland skill. What the fuck? 10% increased attack speed. That's it? Nothing else? Shouldn't it have like some base damage or something? Let me refresh. Fuck. It's so, yeah. That's all you do. You throw your weapon, and then it returns. That's it. 10% attack speed. Where's its like damage effectiveness and shit? It has nothing. It's just 10% attack speed. And that's from the quality. So if you had a level 20 gem, it has absolutely nothing on this gem. I kind of like it. It's very clean, you know? What the fuck? Alright, Vol Spectral Throw has a damage thing. Base damage, projectiles, attack speed can't be evaded. That's so weird looking. Alright, whatever. Cyclone, wait, we already saw this. Riposte, they buffed the fuck out. Look how much damage that has. Max block builds, dude, using Reckoning, Riposte, Vengeance. They're gonna be pretty strong. It's a lot of flat added damage. I might try to make a Reflect build again. I used to play max block builds all the time, and I would use Reckoning and Riposte, no, mostly Reckoning, to apply like curses and shit, but it might actually be able to deal damage now. Like a 4-link Reckoning would be pretty solid. Every time you block, it just hits like a cone around you, it's great. Or towards the enemy that hit you, whatever. Static Strike gained a chain, I think, so you have better AoE overall. I think it's about the same though. I thought this said 6 maximum bean targets, and I was excited. I was like, yes, please target beans. Vengeance buffs, look at that damage. So good. Just bean. Ice Crash, I think Ice Crash with Pulverize would be insane. Because Ice Crash has one of the highest like damage per hit skills in this game. It's so good. Pulverize, Ice Crash, just one-shot something. I like it. Vigilant Strike gives you Fortify, no one cares. Fortify has a more multiplier on it now, so you could potentially put it in your main links all the time. I like that. No longer relegated to purely being a travel skill, movement skill support. Probably going to use, if you're playing a Berserker for the defensive bonus, I'd recommend using this. Be pretty good. Wild Strike, I don't know what they changed here. I don't remember. I've read so many patch notes and manifestos and information in the last like week. Great. Frostblade's got base damage and some buffs. Earthquake got a huge chunk of base damage on the Aftershock. I think they buffed the Aftershock. Base duration is 1 second. Can I get that to 0? Can I make it instant Aftershocks? With like less duration? Can you, What other ways can you get less duration? Swift Affliction I think has it still. I want this to be an instant Aftershock. Can I just run around and one-shot things? Like we used to. When Earthquake first came out, we would always build for like attack speed that was just slightly higher than the Aftershock. Or, wait, slightly slower, something like that, so it'd Aftershock every single attack. It's been a long time since I played Earthquake like that though. Protector, 18 melee range, that seems excessive. I don't know what it currently has, but that's some long arm, boys. Warchief only has 10% melee range. Come on, where's your long arms, Warchief? Protector has long, I guess that makes sense. You're gonna protect someone, you need long arms. Sunder, huge base damage. I think they buffed its length this league as well. Sunder Pulverize would be fun. Tectonic Slam, same thing. Chieftain Tectonic Slam is gonna be really good since you get 35% chance to generate whenever you use a fire skill. You should be able to sustain, I think, even on single target with that. Get those big slams all the time. I think they changed its AoE as well. I don't remember the wording. I think they changed the like normal slam and the charge slam AoE a little bit. We'll see. Vol Earthquake. 407% more damage with hits and ailments. Ongoing effect ends after 7 aftershocks. Has that always been there, or can you like sustain? Can you play a pure Vol Earthquake build? Berserker Vol Earthquake sounds fun. Maybe Gladiator for Bleed Earthquake. Blurthquake. Vol War Chief, sure. Consecrated Path. Remember when they first added this and it just didn't deal damage sometimes when you played it? Like the middle of your hit just had no damage randomly. They patched that eventually, but it was really funny. You can unarm this one. Oh my god, Facebreaker, Consecrated Path. I forgot about that. This is your league start? Oh, I'm sorry. Smite. I believe they buffed this pretty heavily. A lot of stuff we've seen already. I just want to see the auras for the most part. Changes, 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 changes. Puncture traps, please. Are there any other auras? Rip Warlord's Mark, 2K19. Viper Strike. Wow. Look at all those words. Glacial Hammer, Vol Glacial Hammer. The Thunderdome. Remember when we played Vol Spark and people would actually use Vol Glacial Hammer on a boss? Because it makes like a ring around the enemy of ice and you could bounce the sparks off of it. It was really funny. Thunderdoming bosses. I have so many weird memories of this game. Frontal Blow got base damage. Glacial Hammer got base damage and a freeze chance every 3 hits. Flipper Strike. Look at that 20% chance to gain friendly charges on hit. And it gives movement speed. Gotta go fast. I wonder if I can start with Flicker Strike. League start with Flicker. My eyes would burn. I think Frenzy is now the fastest attack speed in the game because it gets more attack speed per friendly charge, including the more per friendly charge that you get by default. So this plus Berserker, which has an insane amount of more attack speed on it, this should be pretty fast. I don't know, I'm curious to see if people do it. How fast can you attack? What's the current cap on attacks per second? It's gotta be fast. I don't know how fast people can currently attack, but it'll be even better. Any more things that I haven't seen yet? I don't think so. Alright, well, we got to see the auras finally, which is cool. I do wish all of these worked with all weapon types, but whatever. I like close combat. For you mechanically gifted players. There's not a cap, but there's like, not like a hard cap, there's a soft cap based off the amount of gear that we have available, you know? And ascendancies and whatnot. Skill points and gear is the limit to your attack speed. Frostblink, yeah, this looks cool. If you're playing an auto bomber, I think this will be insane for you. If you're doing Herald of Ice auto bomber, just run around and blink to packs and they explode. Nah, 18 APS is slow as fuck, dude. You can get that on accident. Should be able to get like 100 with 12 plus frenzies and Berserker blitz charges. I want to see 100 plus attacks per second with full weapon range, so it's like this giant slash across the screen. It'll be great. I think these are all good. Probably gonna see some number tweaking on the new skills. Hopefully they don't nerf them and they just buff the bad ones. I wish Rage had a more multiplier on it, but I guess that flat phase might be considered the same thing as a more multiplier. Puncture bleed, is that gonna be fine? It has more bleed now. 10% faster bleed. Maybe. I haven't seen a puncture build in years, but we'll see. I think that's all the reviews though. Let me know what you guys think about all of these. I like Pride and Chain Hook in close combat. Frostblink and Flesh and Stone. Blood and Sand. We'll see. We'll see what happens.